Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, James Lantine, with John Marquez on another episode of Listen Up, Santa Paula.
I didn't know we had a live audience this time.
Yeah, we do.
Wow.
I shipped them in personally for this show.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So it is episode number 114.
Yeah, I didn't even know we went live. I couldn't see myself. So.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. So, I can't believe we are already approaching the holiday seasons.
Yes.
Halloween, Valentine's Day, Halloween.
Might as well.
I know.
Next year. Yeah.
Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and all that stuff. And it's just absolutely crazy.
Well, you think about Valentine's Day, it's only 8 months away.
Yeah.
Think about it. So it's just, it's within that year's timeline. So, but yeah, we're already planning in a few weeks. We have a meeting for planning holidays, get some feedback from the community as far as getting a unified message going.
This is crazy. I remember we lived in Kentucky and it was the day before Christmas and it was like the longest day ever in my life.
Yeah.
And now it's like, wait, what? No, slow down.
Everything's a blur now.
Oh, it is.
As we get older,
Is that what happens?
The time's moving faster.
Age speeds things up.
We are.
We slow down, but time speeds up.
Yeah, so we're just trying to keep up.
Yeah, figure that one out.
Yeah.
All right, we will be right back.
Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
There's so much going on in your community that even in this age of information, it's tough to keep up. This show will help. It's all about what's new, what's happening, and what's out there. So if you're ready, sit back and listen up, Santa Paula.
I still love that drone flyover.
Yeah.
Did I keep the Listen Up Santa Paula tag on the whole time without us even being shown?
I wasn't even paying attention.
Can somebody fire me?
We don't have exactly a top-notch producer, but I mean, he does the best he can.
Well, the producer might be top-notch. It's the tech that's it's screwing it up.
Yeah, so it's Mr. Everything here.
Yeah.
So we do the best we can with what the resources we have, right?
Well, it was important for them to see the logo, so they knew they were listening to.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody knows what we look like by now.
We hope.
And if you're listening to it on podcast, you're not seeing us anyway, so it would make no difference to you.
Your voice, your soothing voice, actually makes people feel comfortable, right? There you go. See,
I actually been working on my radio voice.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Doing those voiceovers, trying to bring it home. Yeah. So.
All right. Anyway. So.
Yolanda.
What are you talking about?
Isn't it Yolanda?
Who's that?
Who's the? Oh, don't tell her I just screwed up her name.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Age.
Yeah.
Starts with an A.
Ananda.
There you go. Nice.
Not Yolanda. Yeah.
Yolanda. I don't know where you.
Ananda.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, sorry about that.
See? Age.
It is.
Age is,
Age, tired, and burning the candle at both ends.
Don't we all do that now?
Yeah.
At some capacity. I mean, I think we all do that.
Something about this show just perked you up because you look like crap coming in.
Yeah, I still don't feel great. Still recovering from my surgery, but I mean, I'm plugging away. I got my game face on.
You got your color in too, and that's good. Yeah, you got your game face.
Got my game face on.
Everything below the smile is
junk. There you go, just junk. Yeah.
Nice.
Just look at me from the face, the neck up. That's all I need right now. So,
but
yeah.
So you are recovering from gallbladder surgery, and I had appendix surgery, and so you'll be due for your appendix pretty soon, and I'll be due for my gallbladder.
Yeah, it's just part of life,
and we'll be just twins again.
Start removing body parts as they break down, So yeah, it's just me just getting used to things I eat, and like this morning wasn't a great morning, but I'm better now, so it's just got to let it kind of do its thing.
Yeah.
So it's just trial and error with things right now. So
yeah, My mind says I'm young. My body says,
yeah, that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
It's just like, and I look at like, I'll shift a little bit to our organizations, because I'm part of Rotary and we have other volunteer organizations, and we're all in that 50, 60, 70 plus category, and yet we're still very functional. It just takes a little bit longer to get the stuff done.
Yeah.
And so you got to know your lane that you have to stay in. Every once in a while we try and jump into something that maybe is a little out of our realm that we could do 10, 20 years ago. And I'm learning that right now. I'm learning to stay in my lane right now, so because I'm moving into the next decade next year. And so, yeah,
So I've often wondered, when we do the podcast, should we be looking at the camera and talking to them, or should I be talking to you?
I'm just whatever. I look at the camera, look at you, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're just having a conversation. I don't want to sit there and look directly at the camera, but it's more, we're just having a discussion. See, that's creepy. So, yeah. So
I can't see anybody on the other side.
Yeah. So we're just having a discussion,
So speaking of volunteers, do you find like these organizations are starting to age out?
Yes. And and I'll speak a little bit to, like, I'm part of the Rotary Club, and Rotarians, you go to any city, Rotarians tend to be older, 50 plus, whatever. And that's the reputation of Rotary, that we're an old club, old clubs. But we're effective in our community. And so, but I mean, I've been with them 10 years, and when I came in, there was a lot of volunteers that were, my age or a little bit above, and they're getting now into their 70s and 80s. And while the mind's still sharp, they still want to do things. It's just hard for them physically to do things. And any club that faces that right now, there's a lot of clubs, especially in our community, that are getting up to that age where, mentally you can still do the work, and there's a role for you in that, but you just can't physically do it. Or you can, but it just takes longer to do it. And sometimes that doesn't always work. The challenge we're having right now is getting a younger group, a younger generation to get involved. And I think part of it is how things are in our society. Everything's fast paced. Everything's instantaneous. It's hard to get a younger generation to come in, and I'm talking 20s, 30s, 40s, to commit that kind of time when there's so many other things that are around you that are going on. So they pick and choose what they do. They still want to be part of the club. We still want them to be part of the club, but they can't make a longer term commitment beyond, what's ever happened like a month ago. They can't say they're going to commit between, say, for Thanksgiving or Christmas. They won't commit that until about a month out. And I get that, because there's so many things going on. So it's harder for organizations to get people to commit to volunteer on a longer term. It's all pretty much instantaneous now.
Now, what about, would you say that this younger generation is not as in tune to social organizations like the older generation is?
No, I think they are. It's just that time commitment,
Yeah.
And it's, like with Rotary, we meet every week. Our club meets every week, noontime on a Monday. Well, most younger generation works, unless you live and work in town, you're not gonna be able to make these meetings.
Right.
So you got to kind of pick and choose what you can do to be effective. There's other types of clubs, an e-club, where you're just evening clubs, morning clubs, but ours happens to be noontime. So it's really hard for us to get younger generations to commit to that. But yet again, they'll volunteer for us at certain functions.
So it's kind of like, based on the scheduling, you almost create your own elderly environment, because those are the only people that can really
that'll commit
adjust to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Retirees, and some are, they're still in their 60s and they retire, and they're very effective for the next 10, 15 years.
Right.
But you do need a core of younger generation volunteers. And that's hard to find for any club right now, or anybody in a community. It just, I mean, really, when you looked at us when we were that age in our 20s and 30s, we didn't have social media. We didn't have all these things firing at us in all different directions and stuff. And now it's just such a fast-paced world. It's hard to get people to commit, and when they can, great. We appreciate that. But it's just one of those things where when I have volunteers for the chamber, I don't really look for them until about 3 or 4 weeks out, because I can't get a long-term commitment from them. So I don't want to, I'll let them know what's going on, but they won't give me any kind of commitment unless it's 30 days or less, because they have to look at what's going on in their
Right.
lives. And the thing is, a lot of the younger generation, I found out, they're involved in numerous different organizations. They, the networking, all that stuff. And so it's really hard for them. They got to pick and choose what fits best for them at that time. Where, growing up with us, we knew, like with me growing up, it was just like, you knew you had this to do on this weekend. This is what's going on. And you didn't have all these 50 other things that are surrounding you, so it's really hard to get people to commit time now. It really is, not that they don't want to, but it's just getting them to nail that down and do that. It's hard.
When we were growing up, I mean, a typical scenario for us as kids was your mom or your dad, or both worked. More than likely, it was probably dad. Mom stayed home, but you worked for, from 9 to 5. Typically, you were home for dinner. You all sat down at the dinner table. You did your homework. You had a little bit of family time, and then you brushed your teeth and you said your prayers and you went to bed.
Yeah.
And then on the weekends, you maybe had a baseball game, or something to that effect. But then, you were home and you were outside playing with the neighborhood kids, and mom and dad were doing stuff around the house. And then the phone rang and it's like, the answer machine will get it, and it just seemed like the focus was more kind of family.
Yeah. Simpler times.
It was very simple. Yeah. And I'm sure our parents, when they were looking back at their childhood, were saying, well, it was simpler than, when we were kids. But now it seems like, how many people actually are home for dinner?
Yeah.
I know I'm not.
Yeah.
I rarely get home for dinner.
Yeah. I mean, we've been trying to do that with our family, with my family, to commit at least 1 or 2 days a week where we can kind of all get together. But that's hard because of schedule sometimes.
Yeah. We do a family dinner now on Sundays.
Yeah.
But I mean, it used to be Monday through, and maybe on the weekends you didn't make it for dinner because of different activities. But, during the week you were home for dinner.
Well, and you look at how the work schedules are now, I mean, do you work in a 9 to 5 shift?
No.
I don't know of anybody that really works a 9 to 5 shift anymore.
On average, I do about 12 hours a day.
Yeah. It's funny because when I was in the hospital and I was talking to one of the nurses, I was asking, so how often do you work? And she's like, I work 3 12-hour days. It's horrible, as far as the timeline and all the working 12-hour days. And I'm like, years ago, and not take nothing away from them, but years ago, those were tough shifts for nurses, doctors, anybody in that field that had to work these 12-hour continuous shifts. But I thought about it and I was just like, God, everybody's doing that on a regular basis now where they're working 12-hour shifts because out of necessity or whatever. So it's like, wow, it's great what they're doing. But then again, they're not the only ones anymore. That's becoming the norm for everything now.
Yeah.
And it's not just Monday through Friday. With the way you can work at home, your phone, whatever, you're checking work emails almost 7 days a week now, and that's become a priority. I mean, this has become good and bad.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to put away the phone. And I'm trying to do that more. I know sometimes you text me and stuff like that. I'm just like, I'm not near the phone. I just purposely walked away from it. And then you think I'm ghosting you. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, God, but I mean, it's hard to set it down and not look, and it's created this kind of monster now for all of us where we're constantly on. We have very little downtime now.
I'm trying now, especially when Julie gets back, that when we're together, I'm going to put the phone away.
Yeah.
And because you see it at the dinner table or you see it at the restaurants and everybody's talking on their phone.
Yeah.
And so
and people are expecting like an instant answer a lot of times. It's like, I'll get back to you when I get back to you.
Yeah.
I can, because I try and have a sense of normalcy, and it just sometimes it's hard, and you're sitting there looking at your work emails at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, figuring out, well, what's my day going to be like tomorrow? And
then you go to sleep stressed because you realize your day is going to be
like, the morning I've got like 5 meetings. I don't know how I'm going to get all this done. And you're going to bed and you're like trying to sleep like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a vicious cycle and it's hard to, and back to like the younger generation, that's becoming the norm for them. I don't know if they ever know how to turn it off and just sit.
Right.
And I don't know. It's like, with my grandkids now, it's like we need to figure out how to get that generation to kind of slow down.
Yeah.
Because they're getting thrown even more stuff at them. That next generation is too. I mean, your grandson too. I mean,
right.
You got to figure out how to slow them down a little bit, and it's hard.
So I'm doing, this is something, and people can look this up if they want. There's a program called GTD, Getting Things Done. Mm-hmm. And I just recently got a book, an audio book called Getting Your Poop Together.
In so many words.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's all about, time management and everything like that. And one of the things in the program with GTD is you got to take things out of here and put them on paper so that you're not worried about, oh, I'm going to forget this. I'm going to forget this. I'm going to forget. So your mind gets cluttered with all this stuff because you're just trying to keep everything organized and filed up in that brain. And so the one thing that I love about the iPhone is Siri has been a really good friend to me now, because all I do is I push that button and I say, hey, set me a reminder to do X. Mm-hmm. And then I ran into the problem of forgetting to look at my reminders. So I use an application called Monday, and it's a time management application. You put in all your tasks, and essentially what you do is you look at your overall list of tasks, and out of that list, you say, what do I have to do today? Mm-hmm. And that goes into a separate list. So that is your must-do list. Mm-hmm. And if you accomplish all of that, then you start jumping down onto your other list. And tomorrow, some of those things that weren't a must-do today are now a must-do. But you really try to look. And one of the things that they really harp on GTD is that you schedule your time for your emails. Stop opening your emails, looking at it, closing it, going on, stopping, looking. So what I do is I do my emails in the morning. Mm-hmm. I check once in the afternoon, and then before I go home. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing how many people are like, hey, I emailed you. And I'm like, okay, but I'm not, I don't sit here all day long looking at my screen going, open email. Yeah. Because that is such a disruptive part of your process.
Yeah. I really am trying to avoid looking at my emails during the day. Unless, like I said, in the morning, I'm spending a few hours looking at that, kind of figuring it out. And then I try and go like 4 or 5 hours without even touching it.
Yeah.
I'll do other things that I need to get done. If I need to send an email, I will, but I'm trying to stay away from reading, 20 emails that come through in whatever. And then I'll look in the evening now. I'm trying to do that. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I'm actually making an effort to do that because I would literally sit here all day reading emails, and it's just like you get nothing done.
No, because you're sitting there, you're working on something else, and you stop and you get an email and it distracts you.
And I look at it this way. If it is really super important, they can call.
Yeah.
If it's critical, most people have my number. They could text me, call me. If it's that critical, do that. Yeah, but if you're going to send me an email, I'll get to it when I can.
I'm trying to do the same thing with text messages.
Yeah.
Where, you don't, and again, it's funny, especially with the text messages. The email's not so bad. People know there's going to be a delay. Text messages, they expect you to have a conversation, like right there.
Well, I was texting somebody yesterday, or somebody texted me, and I did a quick answer, and then they're asking me questions on texting, and I'm like, screw this. So I just called them. I'm like, I'm not going to go back and forth. Tell me what you need, whatever. Let's get this done and move on. Because I literally would sit there 10 minutes texting back and forth, answering stuff when I made a call for 2-3 minutes and got it done.
There was a comedian. It was funny. He was talking about. He said, "Hey, do you hear did you hear the new service where you can talk into your phone and it will convert it over to text, and then it will send the message over to you, and then it will convert that text back to voice." Yeah. Kind of like what a phone call is.
I've learned that on my new truck. I mean, I can do that when somebody texts me, and I'll hear it, and they'll say, "Would you like to respond?" And I'll say yes, and it says, "Well, please record it." I would record it, and then we send it. So it's cool. I mean, so I'm learning how to do that right now. So,
but what the comedian was making fun of is that you're speaking into the phone with your voice, and then it's relaying the message back with a voice. Why don't you just pick up the phone and dial a number and have a conversation?
Because it's easier to text now.
Yeah.
They made it convenient to, but I'm to a point now, I'm just like, it's easier for me just to call them, especially if I know it's going to be a long conversation with 20 questions.
Right.
Makes no sense, I
think some people are afraid that if they call, you're going to get dragged into this long conversation. Yeah. If you text, but then sometimes, like you said, texts become longer than a phone call.
Yeah. And sometimes I literally put my phone down and walk away and do other things. I used to carry my phone pretty much on my ear or my pocket right here the whole time. And I'm just like, no, I'm just going to set it down, walk away, do what I need to do. Then I'll come back and check it once in a while.
When I do that, my cameras in the office all of a sudden say, Jim, pick up the phone.
And then again, was it that important?
No, she just wanted to talk to me.
Well,
she misses me.
Well, it's your wife. I know that's priority.
So, one of the things, the whole thing with this volunteering and stuff, I mean, it's really hard nowadays to get people to volunteer, period, because of all their schedules. But we had a situation where we had a couple of volunteers that came in, and you almost scratch your head and go, why did you bother volunteering? Mm-hmm. They were like cranky and, and mumbling underneath their breath. And it was like, you could tell if you didn't want to be here, don't be here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
mean, were they checking a box for volunteering for a group or
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, if you're going to volunteer for something, volunteer with your heart. I mean, be all in.
Act like you want to be there.
Yeah. And commit and really make a positive difference.
Yeah. And I've always said it's okay if you can't volunteer or even if you show up and then you have to leave, it's fine. We appreciate the time.
Right.
But yeah, when you commit, make that commitment while you're there. That puts a strain on an organization that relies on volunteers when you get people to show up and then they don't want to engage, and it's like, appreciate you being here, but if you're not going to commit to this, then thank you. And, maybe the next time, we'll figure it out. But,
right.
But, they're volunteers. So you gotta, you getting them out there is great. And sometimes it's like, I look at it as like, well, maybe I didn't give them the right direction to help them get engaged too. If I just like, they show up like, oh, what do you want us? Well, then just go over here and stand there. Well, is that fair to them?
Right.
Maybe explain to them, hey, this is what I'm going to need you to do. Here's the information. So on my end, I got to get better. When I have volunteers, it's like, here's your duties. Here's what I would like for you to do. So they know going in how much the time commitment and the effort's going to be too. So,
right.
So, organizations have to do their part too in making sure we get them engaged because they are committing time, so it's a two-way street though. When you get them there and you give them the instruction and they still don't get engaged, maybe that's not a good fit for them.
I had a situation where I was in a drive-through, mm-hmm. and I pulled up to the window and they handed me the food and I went to go give them the money and they said, oh, the car in front of you took care of it. And I'm like, what do you mean the car in front of me took care of it? And she said, all they told me was pay it forward. Mm-hmm. And do you know what kind of a good feeling? I mean, that just kind of like warms your heart, mm-hmm. and everything that, mm-hmm. that there are people out there, mm-hmm. And, being self-employed and trying to, do this nonprofit. I mean, things are struggles.
Yeah.
And, I mean, not that I didn't have the money. It wasn't like I asked them, but the fact that somebody, felt enough compassion that they were like, you know what, I'm going to make somebody's day today and do that. Mm-hmm. And so, I've been trying to do that same thing, especially like if I am volunteering and stuff like that. I want people to leave and, our film festival. I mean, it was our first film festival. Mm-hmm. We did the best we could. Mm-hmm. And, it wasn't like, it wasn't like people came out in droves and, we had this 5-day festival or whatever. But every review we got was 5 stars. Mm-hmm. And the comments and the feedback were all the same. Man, they felt it. They made us feel so welcome. It was such a nice, mm-hmm. warm, heartful feeling. What a great group, and so it's that kind of when you're out there and you're working with people and, we've technically are volunteering
our time. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And to have people acknowledge that, and then you get rewarded by them acknowledging the fact that we had a great experience. And yeah, no, it wasn't like a super fancy over the top film festival, but you know what, we had a better experience with this than we did going to LA and participating in one of theirs. And so I mean that's what I strive for. And we do it with our escape rooms. We do it with everything that we do. Is we want people to feel like family.
I think all of us do that. Even on my level with the chamber, it's we put on these festivals. Do we make money? No, we break even and maybe make a little bit, but we're giving the community, giving back something to the community that's making them feel good and getting them engaged. Makes us feel good that we can actually provide that service,
right?
Similar to what you're doing and stuff. So it's great. It's great to see that. For me, it's more the self-satisfaction. I've always been one to give, and it's just like that's my win when I see that people are engaged, they're having a good time, and they appreciate what you're doing. That's probably the best reward there, knowing that they appreciate what's going on.
Yeah, and you're a part of this amazing community, and you're helping shape its reputation and how people perceive it.
And we appreciate the support of our community. I mean, that's how we continue to do what we do. Is it always work? No, but I mean, we're
trying to educate them.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting people more engaged, and that's where our volunteers come in. People see that, and I've had people say, "Well, how can I help?" Because they saw something that could have changed, and they're like, "Well, what can we do to help it?" Well, next year let's talk.
Yeah.
So that's you got to do these kind of things, and it gets people engaged. And we're trying to start an ambassador program for the chamber, which is an all volunteer group. And so we're looking at maybe October, November to start this, and we're slowly gathering people. And this is going to be a core group of volunteers that are representing the chamber, but they're also going to be able to help other groups with service and stuff. So we're going to build this core group, maybe 5 to 10 people to start with. But like when we have events, they're going to be like our little army that's going to go in there and help. We do mixers. They're going to be able to do things, and any kind of event that we do, they're going to be a core group that's integrated and has a say in as far as how we shape some of these things too. It's not just show up and do the work. No, you're going to help us make this program better.
Nice.
And so it's been on our radar for a while, for a few years now, and we're finally going to get it going probably before the end of the year and have hopefully 5 to 10 people that can help for festivals and other things. And we see opportunities there to help in other ways too. So,
right.
And these are going to be, some are going to be retired people that just need things to do. Some are actually our chamber members that say, we'll help at events and stuff because they're always there. Like, well, let us get engaged. So,
right.
So other chambers are doing that too, and other business organizations. They have their volunteers. The museum has a docent program. I think the theater center has volunteers too. So we're just going to kind of get into that realm too, that we could be even a bigger assist for our community. So,
right.
And we do have a lot of good people that have retired and they just want something to do.
Right.
And they love this community. So it's just finding that right fit. I always tell people, if you want to volunteer, make sure it's the right fit for you.
Right. All right, we got 2 minutes. So
we haven't even started. We got a lot of things happening.
Well, we checked off my box.
Oh, okay. You only had one thing. Well, I'll just kind of give a quick list of things that are coming up. We have the Harvard Boulevard ribbon cutting celebration.
Nice.
We're doing that on the 31st of August at Bunnan Chevrolet. We'll have details probably coming out next week. We're finalizing it, but it'll be in the morning, Saturday morning. We're not sure exactly what time yet. We're trying to get all the invites aligned, stars aligned with all our officials that have contributed to it. So we're trying to get them all to figure it out. But it'll be cool. We're gonna hopefully do an actual ribbon cutting across Harvard. We'll figure how we do that, and there'll be some food and we appreciate Bunnan Chevrolet actually hosting it for us, and it's kind of right in the center part of Harvard.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect place to do it. And then you got to buy a car too. So that's the goal. Go there, cut a ribbon, and buy a car.
Yeah.
So but anyway, so we have that. We do have a holiday marketing meeting coming up on the 22nd of August. Now, this meeting we're going to do at Gather and Play downtown. If you haven't been there, you can definitely go down there and see. It's right across from the draft stuff. But we're asking the business community to come out and we're we're going to talk a little bit about what we want to envision as far as a unified message for the holidays to get people to shop local, shop small, because everybody kind of does their thing, but we want to see if we can pull resources together, create some funding, and get that same message out to everybody. Kind of like how American Express has their Small Business Saturday program. It's a nationwide thing. We use that also, but we want to do something on top of that that's tailored more to Santa Paula, like a Shop Santa Paula holiday campaign and stuff like that. So talk about the holidays. We're starting to work on that. So we're doing this a lot earlier. Last year we did it in October, and this year we're doing it in August. So that's coming up. There'll be details coming out. I'll talk about it next week. There's also the National Night Out for the Police Department, and that is August 23rd. It's a Friday night from 5 to 8:30 at Veterans Park, right across from City Hall. So there's going to be they're going to have food, they're going to have games, they're going to have different things but you get to come out and introduce and meet the police department.
Speaking of that game place, Gather and Play, where I've been actually talking with them about doing a senior citizen magic lesson where we teach the grandparents some magic so that they can go and show it to their grandkids.
Oh, sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Not just the pull my finger trick, right?
Yeah, no, just let them be the cool grandparent that comes in and little Johnny, oh, grandma's going to visit and she always does a trick for me.
Or the quarter used to come out from behind the ear.
Yeah.
I think it's gone up now. It's probably not a quarter anymore.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, it's probably
Can I get $1?
A debit card or something. Whatever. But anyway, so that's good.
Yeah.
And then we have the Best of Heritage Valley. So it's going to be a community-wide vote on the best of, like was that best tacos, best salsa, best law firm, whatever. And it's the featured are our chamber members, but you can actually nominate another business that's not a chamber member. So that's coming up. It starts on the 27th. Nominations will go out. Nomination period will go out a week before on the 20th. So look out for that probably in the next week or so as well. And then finally, we're looking at scheduling a candidates forum. It's election season. So we're going to partner with the League of Women Voters, which we always do every election season, to host a forum. We're still trying to figure out a location, but we're looking at sometime in mid-September. And now that we're at districts, we have 2 districts up, so it'll be a little different dynamic, but we're going to do it in person. Last time we did the candidates forum for the supervisor, it was Zoom, but for our local candidates here, we're going to do it in person. So working out the details. We just wrapped it up. We finalized it yesterday, so now we're just got to get location.
How many candidates?
I don't know. The deadline is this Friday. Okay. So it's interesting to see. We do have, our mayor, Leslie Cornejo. I'm pretty sure she's going to do that, and maybe 1 or 2 other candidates in her district. I'm not sure in the other candidate district yet. I know our council member Andy Sobel's in that district, but I'm not sure if he's rerunning or anything like that. So it'll be interesting if nobody does it in one of the district's files. I think it gives the incumbent another opportunity, an extra week to file or whatever. So we'll know Friday. We'll know Friday for sure. Friday by 5 or 4 p.m. I think it is that they have to file. So we'll know next week for exactly who's running, and but we're going to host this forum. We've done it every year, every election year for who knows how long now.
We should try to get them invite them to the radio show.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
And if they turn the invite down, then that's okay. But
we just got to invite them all.
We invite them all, and whoever wants to do it can come. And
we don't endorse,
right?
But we give everybody equal opportunity to plead, or not to plead, but to kind of state what their platform is,
right?
And then let the people vote. I mean, it's always good to let, with the chamber, we do the same thing. We just present the case and let people, make their decision. But we want to make sure they're informed, so we get them as much information as possible. Hence, when we do this for candidates forum, we're giving the platform for them to come in and let the people, decide based on what they hear.
Right.
So, but David Marin from League of Women Voters is the MC for it. Does a fantastic job. They do them all over the county. And so, yeah, it's really good, and we're really happy that we're going to do that again with a partner with them.
Nice.
So, yeah. And by the way, I might need to find somebody to record it. So, let me know who's available after the show. So,
when is it?
In September.
Oh, sorry, I'm busy.
Okay.
No.
I'm just putting out there.
I'm never too busy for you, John.
There was a request that looking for somebody to to film these things for us.
Okay.
I'm like, I think I know a guy that knows a guy. So there you go.
And I am the official videographer for the city of Santa Paula and the Santa Paula Chamber. So don't you dare come and step in my territory.
I stated that on an email last night.
You did?
Yes. Yes. So yeah, and I shared some information, some contact information, so you may get a phone call.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so there was, what was the price? I said, well, I go, he's reasonable. I go, just talk with him.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we'll see. I'm trying to get you gigs.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that. Now
Anyway.
Get me a wedding.
Still working on that.
That has been such a challenge.
Yeah. And
So.
it's I mean, so many people are getting married and doing all this, that. It's like,
I've even offered a free one just in exchange that I get to use marketing, the feed, some of the content for marketing.
sometimes free turns people away, though. It makes them suspicious.
Yeah.
So even if you get maybe a really good price,
Yeah.
So if you need weddings, quinceañeras, anniversary parties, milestone birthday parties,
Call me.
yeah, exactly.
So
We got a guy.
we got a guy.
Yeah. So and does great work. So okay, cool. But that's what we have going on. I mean, more next week. We'll have some things wrapped up and some dates, and hopefully people get engaged. I mean, we're getting into the election season and the holiday season at the same time. So
nice. By the way, you know what the top search phrase for Heritage Valley was last month?
What?
Santa Paula Film Festival.
Nice.
That ended up being the top search phrase for the Heritage Valley.
Well, we got to expand that services. I'll talk to you offline, but we're gonna have to really ramp up.
Okay.
Yeah, got some opportunities here.
And I'm now tracking Visit California and what's the other one? California
Coastal. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm tracking those two to see what kind of referrals are coming over from them.
Yeah. We're members, so
yeah.
so that's with those organizations. So
yeah,
it's good to get engaged with them. They kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah. So right now the numbers have been really low, but I think we got to do some editing there, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
All right. Anything else?
I'm good.
All right. We have our Spellbound at the Table this Friday with Jonathan Molo, who is an amazing performer. And he will be there at 7 p.m. You can get tickets at thomagic.org. We have a few left that's actually selling really good.
Good.
And if you want to learn anything about the Valley, go to heritagevalleyca.org, or you can check out the santapaulachamber.com or thomagic.org. Between those three, you'll know about pretty much anything that's going on.
And if you read the paper, go to Santa Paula Times.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the paper.
Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed, do it. It's cheap. It's
$50 a year,
and it's informative.
Very informative, and you're supporting a hometown business.
Yeah,
and they do great work,
and they need that support. So
and if not, advertise them there, because people do read. They do read these things.
Yeah,
and there's some great deals on there too. So
right.
Yep. Support your hometown.
Yes, very much so. Anyways, with that being said, one last thing, if summer's wrapping up and you want to do a really cool escape room, don't go to the Connection or any of those other areas. Stay in town and support one of the best escape rooms in the county.
Yep.
So we have them right here, and I got the reviews to prove it.
There you go. Support local.
That's right. All right, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Stay safe. It's been pretty hot lately, so stay hydrated. And we will see you all next week.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.